Hi all, Kristen here in the yoga studio room, and I am going to share with you a little Yinyasa class today. So despite not being able to be together during this time, I'm hoping that we can move and breathe even though we're in different spaces. So things that you might need today during our Yinyasa flow, a bolster. If you don't have those identical props at home, you can use a hard pillow maybe from your bed or your couch. And then if you don't have yoga blocks, you can use a rolled up sweatshirt, anything with a little consistency to it, just to find a little height from the floor up. So in this Yinyasa practice, we will move a little and then yin a lot. And so we're going to hold these postures for some time and then really let ourselves soften into these spaces. So despite what's going on, we are given this gift of time. And so really utilizing the space to breathe into and really let yourself just melt and feel a lot of sensation, whether that be physically, emotionally, or even mentally. So let's get started here together. As we come on down, we're going to begin in puppy pose. So you're going to bring your hips to a line right over your knees. And then from there, you're going to walk your arms out long in front of you. And I like to bring my palms together here to start. It's a little less onto the shoulders as you let your head soften down. And because it's our first pose and it's maybe a little too early on, you can bring your blocks right underneath your chest for just a little less into the chest, a little less into the shoulders, as you let your heart soften right onto that space. And then again, you have the option of bringing the palms to face down, or the palms can come together, and then just let your head fall from there. We're here for around 90 seconds to 2 minutes. So just letting yourself breathe into this space as we get started. Maybe you start to feel a little less, and in that case, you can move your props, coming into a deeper, more sensational space. Again, to really lengthen out the sides of the waist, getting into the lats, into the upper shoulders there. We're around 30 more seconds. Take a deep breath into your nose, fill your lungs up softly. And then with your mouth open, exhale, let it go. And starting to press into your forearms, glide yourself back into a little embryo pose. Let your arms sweep alongside your legs, either bringing your head to rest down or coming to your forehead here. Letting your shoulders soften, coming into that space where you can just be really soft with very little sensation here. And take a full breath in through the nose, and then exhale, fall back into it. And starting to reach your arms out in front of you, drawing yourself to a tabletop position. So again, the hips come right over the knees, shoulders right over the palms. Find yourself in a neutral spine. And then on the in-breath, drop the belly, lift the gaze, open the heart, really shine the chest through the gate of the arms. And then as you exhale, press the palms, draw the chin in towards the chest, round into the spine, open the back body. One more time, just like that. On the inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, open the heart. And then exhale, round into the spine, chin towards the chest, belly button up, up towards the ceiling. Inhale right back to a neutral spine, and then shift all of your weight over to the left, coming onto the right side of the body here. From here, we're going to find a little more length along the right side. And so you'll bring that right forearm parallel to the top of the mat down. And if you'd like a little more, you can take this block right underneath here for something to rest on, or you can let the rib cage heavy down towards the ground and kind of slouch into this right arm here. From there, this bottom leg is going to bend. You have the option of reaching around with that left hand, taking a hold of the top of the foot, or just engaging that back hamstring. And then that front and top leg makes its way over to the left side of the mat. And so you either have this connection, this little cattail, drawing the foot down towards the ground, opening across the shoulders, slouching into this right side, and then from there, just let the head fall down. Again, if you've got some props, you can always bring the bolster underneath your arm if you'd like some support there, something to rest onto. Focusing more on the legs here, then letting the rib cage open up and fall down. We're finding this space for around 2 breaths. So really cozy yourself in to a place where you feel sensation, you feel something. You start to open yourself up. It's a little counteraction of pressing down and rooting and anchoring from this right forearm to drawing that left shoulder open, all while slouching into that right side body there and just letting the neck be heavy. And a nice, easy, calm breath here. What other helps you situate into this space? And we're given this gift of time. So 2 minutes may seem like eternity, or it may seem like the blink of an eye. And just how your perspective has switched. And give yourself 3 more breaths to hang on to this heaviness of the right side. And on that last breath, start to press yourself up, releasing that bottom leg, and then slide this right arm coming all the way down. Start to peel that left shoulder open to square off towards the ceiling. And then you've got that option of letting that left arm fall all the way down. You can prop up your sweatshirt underneath that left shoulder so you have a little more space to let that left shoulder fall onto. Or lastly, you can reach around and take that hold of that left top foot again for that little cattail variation and use that connection to really lengthen the front of the chest and anchoring down that left shoulder a little more. Finding a little more softness here into that right side as we collapse down completely. And a little more into the twist. This is a nice, really long line of energy through that iliotibial IT band. If you've had the opportunity to move a lot in this time of isolation, getting a nice stretch through that left side body, should feel really good. Here for 3 more breaths. And on that last exhale, releasing maybe the connection of left hand to right foot as you let that right leg go nice and long, and then rolling yourself all the way onto your back. Just settle into this space, into a Shavasana, allowing the legs to fall open, the palms to face up. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale it out. From here, take your arms, reach them overhead, nice full body stretch, opening across the front body, reaching fingers to toes. And then as you exhale, draw your knees in towards your chest, just softly draping your hands over the knees and then massaging into that low back. Just a little sway from side to side. You can take the knees a little wider here, letting the space in the groin open up. Allowing the hip flexors to turn on, just being really soft in your belly, into your face. We'll take that one more time. Inhale, reach the arms long out from the toes. And this time as you exhale, we're moving into our little banana shape. So your arms and your legs will go over to the right as your hip point stays to the left. You can let your head just drape off to the side, and you don't feel a little or a lot sensation, you can take that left arm, reaching it a little further, and you can take that left foot, draping it right over the right. And this time we're lengthening out the left side of the body here, reaching the arms and the feet over to the right, and just letting that head fall where it may. We're here for around 90 seconds. And if you're feeling that feeling of cabin fever or cooped up, this is intentional stillness here. You're letting the mind be at ease, moving through your own meditation as you find the comforts of just you and yourself. Not thinking it as a negative isolation. How can this positively impact you and your relationship with yourself and with others? And take 3 more breaths, really slow, into that left side waist, into the left rib cage. Letting that left hip reach as far to the left side as possible. And on that last exhale, gently make your way back towards center, right back to that Shavasana. Just let your arms fall, palms come to face up. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, let it go. And again, you take your arms, reach them overhead, fingertips to toes, reach apart. And then as you exhale, drape the left hands, the left feet, anchoring down at that right hip space over to the right. And this time, you're opening up the right side body here. And if you need or desire a little more sensation, you can take that right hand a little farther and then drape that right arm, right foot over that left foot. And again, we find ourselves here for around 90 seconds. Make sure that your chest and your hips continue to stay squared off towards the ceiling, and that length is all outside the right, from pinky finger all the way to pinky toe. And it's sometimes easy to get out of our head when we're in our box like this. It's really close to how we sleep at night. So using your breath to keep yourself in this present moment, keeping your thoughts at bay, just the concentration on your breath. Letting this space soften you as you start to get a little at ease and a little comfortable as time goes by. And take 2 more deep breaths. On that last and final exhale, bring yourself right back towards center. One last reach of fingertips to toes. And then start to drape your knees in, rolling on to the left side body here. And as you prop yourself up, I'm just going to spin so that I can face you. You'll find yourself again onto that left forearm parallel to the top of the mat, letting the heaviness of the left side waist really drape down there. You can keep your knees bent just like this, letting the head fall. If you'd like a little more, you can start to lengthen that top leg out across, and then you start to bend into that bottom leg, perhaps reaching around with this top hand, connecting the top of the foot, and then re-draping the head right back down. So again, a little slouch into the shoulder is fine, but if you'd like a little more support, you can take a block, a bolster, a blanket, a sweatshirt right underneath that rib cage space, so that it doesn't have as much space to fall down. And again, just finding your breath as you start to feel the chest open towards the ceiling. And we're going to start off really slow with a lot of holds, and then we'll start to find a little more movement as we come into it. And just being okay with the stillness. If this is too much into the neck, you can come down all the way to your shoulder, where we will eventually all come to. And keeping that right hip right on top of the left as you open the chest just ever so slightly. We've got about 3 more breaths right here. And on that last exhale, as you lift and prop yourself up onto that left arm, just to slide it down, letting your head drape over. And then from there, peeling that right arm either to face up towards the ceiling for an easy twist, or again, finding that cat tail, taking connection of that right hand to the top of the foot, and using that to anchor that right shoulder down. If it's too much with this right leg, just bending at it to drape over top of the left. And if there's too much lift to that right shoulder there, reaching around for one of your props to find a little connection right underneath. And the last 2 minutes here before we start to find movement. We've got about 30 seconds left, or 3 really slow inhales and exhales. On your last exhale, release that bottom leg if you took the bind. Start to roll yourself back over onto your belly, and then press the palms, send your hips back towards your heels. Take a child's pose for just a breath in through the nose. And then as you exhale, shift that weight forward, tap into your toes, and then as slowly as you can, send your hips all the way up and back for a very gentle downward facing dog. A lot of sensation into this space after being on our back, just getting that blood to flow from the hips all the way down to the head, finding a little pedal into the feet, strength into the arms, and then really using a bend into the knees to use the strength of the legs. Letting the head just sway from side to side. And as you inhale, rise high to the toes, and then bending into the knees, tiptoe your way very slowly, 1 foot at a time, until your feet reach your hands. From here, as you inhale, lift and lengthen ever so slightly, draw those shoulders back. And then exhale, fold it right back in. And on the breath in, rise all the way up to stand. Find full extension. We'll only be here twice. Reach on up. And then exhale, gently fold the body right back in half as you come down. We're finding this dangling pose where we lengthen and reach up to the back body and then soften the front body. You'll grab for opposite elbows here and then really use that to lengthen the side waist. And we did a lot of that to start, so you should feel pretty open in the side body. Now we're just using the back body to lift and lengthen and using a deep bend into the knees here. You can always use your props. Might be a little close by here if you'd like to bring a stack of your blocks and bolster right underneath to find connection for the forearms. You can make yourself a little bench here. Let yourself soften through the forearms. If you don't want to drape the arms, there are multiple places that you can move into. You can take that bolster, move it apart, let your arms drape down onto the blocks here. We're here for about 90 more seconds from this place. A lot of activity into the front hips here, using your breath just to breathe through it. Trying your best to find stillness, but if it feels nice to sway from side to side, you can find movement as well. With every breath, feel the pelvis spilling forward, lengthening the chest a little closer to the thighs. Take a deep breath in through the nose. And out of the mouth, exhale, let it go. Let something release from you. And one more just like that. Inhale through the nose, fill up. And then exhale out of the mouth, let it go. Feel that tension melt away. As you inhale, find a little halfway lift. You can use your props in front of you. And then stepping that left foot all the way towards the back of the mat, you'll drape that left knee down towards the ground. We'll start to move into dragon pose here. And so you want as much space as possible between that front heel and back knee. And you're welcome to use your blocks either alongside of your right leg, or if you'd like to take it a little deeper, you can heel toe that right leg out, bringing the blocks or maybe your palms to the inside. And then if you'd like to go really deep here, you can start to come down maybe onto your forearms, letting your chest fall in between that right leg, but keep that right foot grounded and solid. Another option is you can take that pillow, or if you have a bolster, underneath of your forearms. And then from here, just let your head fall down. So we're not completely relaxed here. There's a lot of sensation through the right side body. But think of that effort and ease, and where can we let ourselves soften? And you can take that forehead maybe to a block, depending on your anatomy, how much you need to build up to you. This is your opportunity to get curious and play around with your props that you have, or if you don't have any, just keeping yourself up onto your palms here, but being soft with the shoulders, and find that space between ear and neck. And breathe into this place of stillness. Letting the pelvis naturally fall with the great weight of gravity. And as you breathe, that front hip of the left leg starts to open a little more. Again, these poses should be sensational. But if at any point in time it shifts to that edge of discomfort, you just back up. So you can start to lift the hips a little bit, and again, build yourself up a little higher. And there's always places to move into, just knowing where to go. So we don't always need to go the deepest, the most profound pose we've ever found. Just something that allows us to feel sensation today. It could look very different from days past, days future. And taking 2 more deep breaths. And as you exhale, if you are on your props, start to build yourself up a little higher. And then pressing into that left shin, sweep that right knee back to meet the left. And then just pause in this tabletop here, feeling what you feel, allowing the body to settle in. And then we'll move through 2 cat-cows. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the heart space, lift the chin. And then exhale, take your time around to the spine, chin towards the chest, move the shoulder blades apart. Pressing through the shin bones. Again, inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, open the heart. And then as you exhale, round into the spine, chin towards the chest. And inhale, back towards center. And then we'll start to find a little motion into the shoulders as you shift the weight into that left arm. Sweep that right arm up towards the ceiling, and then just take a couple of circles here, moving that space, that fluid into that right shoulder, allowing that right side body to open a little more. Take 1 more breath. And then exhale right back to that tabletop. This time moving through that other side. Sweep that left arm up towards the ceiling, and then taking those clockwise rotations, getting deep into the shoulder joints, into that fluid, moving for 1 more breath. And then right back to that tabletop. From here, take a little child's pose. Sink your hips heavy onto your heels, walk your arms forward. Deep breath in through the nose. And then exhale, let your heart melt down a little more. Let the chest sway from side to side. And then whenever you're ready, peel yourself forward, tuck your toes, lift your hips right back to that downward facing dog. Maybe feel a little more space here as this is your second time to invert your head. A lot of strength into the legs after that dangling pose. A lot of movement into the shoulders, a little more space to send the hips up towards the ceiling. And then as you inhale, rise high to the toes. Exhale, bend into the knees, and then using that opposite foot to step forward as you tiptoe all the way to the top of the mat. Your feet reach your hands. As you inhale, lift and lengthen, open up the chest halfway. And then exhale, fold it right back in. Then inhale, use the legs to rise all the way up to stand. Sweep up, reach up nice and tall. And then exhale, palms come through heart center and then down by your side, Tadasana. Aligning the head over the shoulders, over the hips, over the feet. Just let yourself be still and strong. And supported by your feet all the way up. Let your shoulders soften. And take 2 breaths. Again, in through the nose. As you exhale, open your mouth and let something out. Let your emotions come through your breath as you again inhale through the nose. And then exhale out of the mouth. Again, inhale, reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Deep breath in, anchor through your hips as you then fold on down. From here, we find that dangling pose again for another 2 minutes. And so we lengthen out the sides of the waist, and this time either grabbing for opposite elbows or taking their blocks right underneath you, finding connection either through the head, the forearms, but without rounding into the spine. So letting the chest lengthen as much as you can without rounding here. So you don't want to come to the top of the head. You want to maybe bring the forehead down. Or if you're looking for length, you can let the head drop and take the grip of the opposite elbows again. This one can be a little more challenging than others with a lot of strength happening up the chain of the back legs. You can even hold yourself in here. And I like to bring something so my head can connect to. So that I feel that full circuit of feet all the way up to hips and then hips back down to head so that there's connection all around, that everything has a connection point. Something to give it a little resistance and feedback. We're about halfway through. Again, you're welcome to shift as you feel yourself maybe getting a little deeper. You could remove any props that might be holding you back. You've got about 3 more breaths. On that last breath in, start to gaze out in front of you, bending into your knees. This time you're stepping that right foot all the way towards the back of the mat. Drop that right knee down towards the ground. You're welcome again to use your props to bring yourself upright so that the chest is lifted. And then just find space to breathe here. After that inverted space, the blood flowing from our hips down to our head. Be really slow and letting the head rise back over the hips. A lot of blood moving up and down the body. And so you can stay just like this. Or if you'd like a little more, you can start to come down. Maybe you bring the blocks to the inside, right back to this dragon pose. So it doesn't need to mirror or look exact to the first side. Maybe this side is favorable to you, or maybe this is a little more unpleasant. But either way, convince the body that it is in a safe space through your breath. So allowing the body to calm and that rest and digest. It's those really short and quick breaths that feel us into that fight or flight that we need to release from this pose. You are in control of how you are breathing and then how you feel in this space. Again, mention that effort and ease, so not 100% of our body is working right now. So if you think of a pose like Warrior 3, where that grounding leg is doing a lot of the work, and then that back leg is strengthened, and our chest is lifting, our arms are turned on, our head is gazed down. We're here, the legs are really heavy. There's a lot of activity going down into the pelvis, the front of the hip flexors, the psoas, where our shoulders can be really soft. We can melt our head down. And again, as we breathe, maybe it allows us to go a little deeper. So you're not married to any certain pose for the entirety of this time. You can move and breathe as you get a little deeper. 30 seconds left. And final last deep breath in. And then as you exhale, start to come out of it very slowly, moving your props off to the side. And then starting to glide that right knee forward. You take that left leg, sweeping it right next to the right. And then as gently as you can, coming down to one last little embryo pose here, letting your cheek fall off to the side, letting your shoulders heavy. One last breath of engagement into the front hips. And taking your arms, reaching them out long, and then feeling yourself all the way down onto your belly. And after all of that active hip, let yourself melt from side to side, drooping down one hip and then the other. And then we take it back to that child's pose again. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, roll yourself forward, right to that little active upward facing dog. And then as you exhale, just come down onto your chest, sliding your forearms out in front of you. And we're going to work now low back engagement into this Sphinx pose. So if you have any low back trouble, you can bring yourself down a little further. You can always bring your arms onto a bolster if you need a little more. So again, you start yourself onto your forearms, draw your chest through your arms, engage your legs, set a little tuck of the chin. And again, if it's too much into your low back, you can melt the shoulders down, bring a block right underneath your head here. This might be enough. And then if it's not enough, come up onto your forearms. And if you need a little more even still, you can bring your blocks or your blanket or your pillow underneath your forearms for a little more. This will be a lot of sensation into the low back. And so just being easy, we'll be here for around 90 seconds. And it's really easy here to slouch into your shoulders. If it feels okay, press into the forearms to lift that chest, and that's where you'll get all of that low back engagement. Continue to root down and anchor from your hip points, your thighs. You can let the top of the feet here be gentle. They're there for support, but not as much active engagement. Trying to find that space between ears and shoulders, lengthening out the sides of the neck. You can even take a little pivot of your chin from side to side here, lengthening out the side body neck. Final 30 seconds. Take 3 to 5 last breaths. And the final 90 seconds of this belly back bend, lifting, move into seal pose. So you're welcome to take it just like this. Again, if it's too much engagement, or as you press into the palms, you start to lift your chest even more. You can walk your hands back a little closer to you for that extra engagement. And if that's still not enough, you can start to bend into the knees. The final 90 seconds here. Really decompress that low back, lumbar spine. And sometimes during these moments of quiet, we feel things we haven't felt. With a quiet mind, we can have that conversation with our own bodies. During this time of isolation and quarantine, taking in the positive of getting to know yourself again. Building up that relationship with the immediate people around you, including yourself. Take another deep breath in. And then exhale, slowly start to bend into the elbows, melt the chest down towards the ground, and then fan your elbows out wide, bringing your head to rest softly onto your palms, letting the low back neutralize. Before you find any movement, maybe a soft little shift from side to side into the hips. Enjoying this prone position on our bellies. And then take that opposite cheek, let it melt down into your hands. And taking your palms right outside of your chest, sliding them right outside of your ribcage, and then a very slow roll up to your hands and your knees, and then find yourself a nice easy seat here. You'll want to reach around for your props so that they're relatively nearby. Again, I recommend a blanket here. We will be moving into square pose, otherwise known as fire log. So we'll start with that left shin on the bottom. You want to bring that parallel to the top of the mat or where you're seated. And then you're going to bring that right ankle right on top of the left knee so that the right knee is aligned right over that left ankle. And if there's a lot of space, again, you can build up your props right underneath here. You can always take that block or rolled up sweatshirt, it might be a little softer there, so that the knee and the foot have connection to something. Now, if it's a lot and you're lifted like this and it's challenging to even sit up, just slide that right shin out in front of you for a little different variation of a Sukhasana. Both sits bones will be equally rooted down into the mat. And then take a deep breath in, whatever space you're in. Feel the chest sitting nice and tall. And then as we exhale, we're just going to take a twist over to the right. That left hand comes right outside that right knee, sitting nice and tall through the spine, and then getting that nice stretch to the outside of that left shoulder there. If you'd like a little more, you can bring your gaze over that right shoulder. You take another inhale. And then exhale, gently guide yourself right back towards center. From here, sit up nice and tall. And you can pause just like this. Or if you have the space, you can start to heavy your forearms, maybe down onto your shins. You can take your props out in front of you, building yourself a little mountain up to you. And again, you want this pelvis to spill forward. If you feel yourself rounding just to move forward, then just work towards that tall seat. Again, having that alignment of your head nice and straight, the natural curvature to the spine is beautiful. And if and only if you have the space from there to fold, you can start to move your hands a little farther forward. Listen to the beating of your heart. Final 3 breaths. Notice if you're holding on to tension, can you soften for that last exhale?